Alright, here we are, the end of a month filled with a ton of info pertaining to a plethora of different mobile games. If this is your first time here, then hey, welcome to the channel. Hopefully I can go ahead here and satiate that thirst you have for mobile news regarding anything and everything that has come out over the last few weeks. Before we go any further though, MRSSTIX and I have actually just started streaming in the last month or two, 3 times per week. If you're interested in following us over on Twitch and becoming part of our streaming community, then you can go right ahead and either click the link in the description, the pinned comment, or navigate on over to twitch.tv/MMOByte and come and join the family, come join the community. With that out of the way though, let's just go right ahead and jump into this week's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly bite of MMO and RPG news. We're gonna go ahead and start this off with Tower of Fantasy, a brand new upcoming cross-platform anime MMORPG. I did a dedicated video on this on the main MMO Byte channel, so if you're interested, I urge you to go ahead and check that video out. I go into much more detail, I showcase a trailer, and a ton more. Very little has actually been revealed concerning the game right now though, but it looks to be a sci-fi magic themed title with a strong focus on story. Yes, the game is going to be completely cross-play compatible between mobile devices and PCs, with no mention of a console release anywhere in the future. The game is being developed in China, and as such I'm hoping for something better than most Korean cross-platform MMOs, as Genshin Impact actually comes out of China, and that game is freaking awesome. While the game has been announced, no 2020 release date has been confirmed, which means that we're likely looking at probably somewhere in 2021 at the earliest. So, the trailer for Pokemon's latest game, titled Pokémon Unite, just rolled out, and players are, well, I guess you could go ahead and say that they're intrigued. Some people are saying that it looks like a lot of fun, with others saying that the game is merely nostalgia baiting. Me? I guess I'm kind of on the fence. See, Pokémon Unite is a MOBA like League of Legends, being developed by Tencent, yeah. The Chinese company Tencent. The game will feature several Pokemon per side, battling one another in teams trying to complete objectives set within the stage. And I have never been a fan of MOBA games. I never enjoyed League of Legends, I never enjoyed Dota, I don't even like Battle Royales. Now the game is going to be completely free to play and cross-platform on both mobile devices and the Switch. Honestly, I am a little bit concerned for the game. I feel like we already have popular MOBA games, and this, other than having the Pokemon title attached to it, is not going to provide players with anything out of the ordinary to hold their attention. I haven't really talked about Mabinogi Mobile over the course of either of the channel's lives. That's because there just really hasn't been much in the way of info pertaining to the game. However, recently it was announced that Nexon is going to be handing over development to an entirely separate studio. And when I do say studio, I mean a studio that Nexon has made an investment in, the studio behind the Hero Wars MMO that shut down briefly after launching. Wonder Holdings, the studio in question, will work alongside DevCat, the studio behind Mabinogi, and continue development as they attempt to launch the title later in 2021. Yes, the game is scheduled to release in 2021. However, when specifically is currently unknown. I guess it's all dependent on how well this partnership between the two companies ends up ultimately going. Speaking of DevCat and the developers behind Mabinogi and Mabinogi Mobile though, last year it was actually announced that they were working on another brand new upcoming title, Revision's Next Stage. This was created by the director of Code Geass and even had an anime airing on Netflix accompanying it, building additional hype for the game. And let me be the first to admit here, I am a huge fan of Code Geass. I watched Code Geass and Code Geass R2, I don't know, somewhere like over a decade ago, and to date they still remain one or two of my favorite anime of all time. And the fact that Code Geass R3, or the 3rd season of Code Geass, is coming out, like, I cannot contain my excitement for that game, but at the same time, I also don't know how they're gonna follow up on the ending of Code Geass, but I'm going off topic here. The game, Revisions, from what I saw, was a pretty traditional grid-based RPG, where you would field mech units and you'd move around engaging other units like you would in a Fire Emblem game. Nexon, being Nexon though, has opted to shutter the game in August. Yeah, the game is shutting down before really even having the opportunity to garner an audience. V4, Nexon's latest MMORPG, has finally gotten a global announcement. I actually talked about this, I think, earlier this week or last week in a dedicated video on this mobile channel, so if you want to go ahead and learn more about it, you can go directly to that video. But to summarize, according to Nexon, V4, which is a self-titled gorgeous fantasy MMORPG, will be launching onto both Android and iOS devices globally later this year, at any time this year, seriously. They noted the second half of 2020, which could realistically be the final week of December 2020 for all we know. Supposedly, the game is going to feature unprecedented crossplay between both PC and mobile gamers. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. The game is going to feature plenty of cooperative features, large 100-player boss battles which you can participate in through the open world, and will weave in inter-server play. That is at least exciting. Exos Heroes actually just launched. Well, I mean, like, it launched a month ago, but holy wow, I had no idea a game like this would be coming out. Exos Heroes is a brand new RPG that looks, feels, and plays very much like an older JRPG, something that I feel is sorely missing in the genre these days. You can once again find out more by going ahead and watching my Exos Heroes video. I did a dedicated, I think it was almost 10-minute long video on the game. But at its core, it is the same kind of game that you've been playing for years now, but the graphical style, the game world, the exploration, the combat, and even the story are all absolutely top tier. So much so that, once again, I did a dedicated video on it, and I could not put that game down for the entire day. Seriously, if more mobile RPGs used this as a basis, I feel as though people wouldn't put down mobile games and mobile gamers nearly as much as they currently do. Yes, this is a ridiculously long name, and I'm just gonna refer to this as Hero Cantare because, yeah, that is way too much for me to constantly repeat. But Hero Cantare is another RPG that just came out, and while it is definitely not as good as Exos Heroes, it is another title that I highly recommend trying out purely due to the difficulty of the game. Once again, I did do a dedicated video on this, and I went into detail on how difficult this game is, and from what I played through, the game is more or less your average gacha RPG at its core, but it makes use of a pretty unique chain combo combat system. And honestly, if you're bored with the games that you have been playing, isn't it always fun to go and pick up something new? With new heroes, with new graphics, with, you know, new everything. An entirely new title is always fun to get into, and Hero Cantare is an interesting new game that you can go ahead and you can waste some of your time in. I actually just did a video on Genshin Impact on the main MMO Byte YouTube channel, like a day ago, but since the game is going to be cross-platform compatible, I figure it's worth mentioning here as well. So, if you weren't already aware, Genshin Impact is holding its final closed beta next month on July 2nd specifically. This beta test is going to test all the remaining features from the game, including how well the game plays on the PS4. And while I own one, I am going to be playing it over on the PC still, because I prefer the PC honestly, and that is it. We're actually going to be streaming the Genshin Impact beta test on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MMOByte. So if you're interested in joining us, you know, if you're curious how the game's going to look ahead of its release, you can go ahead and stop by. Or, you know, if you want to just go ahead and hang out with MRSSTIX and I, then that's cool too. Dekaron has never really been all that good of an MMO to me personally, but I was definitely surprised last year when it was announced that the game was getting a mobile adaptation. Really, I thought to myself, because I'm gonna be honest here, this game is kinda dead on PC. But yeah, that didn't stop the studio behind the game announcing that they were making a brand new mobile game based on the PC iteration. Now, not much was known about the game until recently, when they had opted to release a brand new promotional poster showing 4 of the classes that you're going to have access to in the upcoming mobile MMO. Little else is known, but from what we've gotten out of mobile MMO adaptations, it is a safe bet to assume that this is going to be an autoplay mess filled with microtransactions that fails to live up to or even capture the essence of what made Dekaron popular during its prime. The world seems intent on providing China with a surplus of games with which to go about developing for them, right? The Lord of the Rings, Pokemon, Diablo, like, I'm not even joking here. If there's one thing we have learned over the experience we have had with Chinese games, it's that they put so little effort into the title they're developing that in the end the game feels empty. It feels void of any type of soul or personality of the original IP. But here we are with Warner Brothers and NetEase announcing a partnership that is going to see a Chinese developed Lord of the Rings mobile title, The Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I couldn't be even if I wanted to be. And while I'm not saying that this means the game is going to be inherently terrible, I am saying that it's definitely a much higher possibility of being as such. Little info is known regarding the game right now, other than it is going to be a globally accessible game and that it is going to be set within the third age of Middle-earth. Earlier this month, I covered the Odin Valhalla Rising MMORPG, but I'd forgotten all about another upcoming MMO, Project Ragnarok. Last month, NetEase announced that they were working on developing a brand new Norse-themed AAA open-world MMORPG titled Project Ragnarok. You take on the role of a hero that has been summoned to stop the destruction of Ragnarok. According to the game's description, it's going to be available on all platforms, PC, consoles, and mobile devices. It'll be completely open world, providing players with a large sense of freedom and exploration, but other than that, in a trailer, there really hasn't been anything else revealed on the title. I'm curious how this is going to turn out though, since I know there are some solid titles that do work cross-platform between PC and mobile, but I've never seen a well-done cross-platform title, especially an MMO, between PC, mobile, and consoles. And that is it. That is all of the mobile MMO, mobile RPG news that has been brought to my attention over the course of the last several weeks, I think. If you know of anything I missed, you can go ahead and you can leave a comment in the comment section. You can DM me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Discord, on Facebook, literally anywhere you have access to. You can drop a link so I can go ahead and read through it and then include it in a follow-up news video later in the month. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.